why do we not have a map? This is the answer. This is the answer. In 1776, the king gave a decree that no one is allowed to publish or patent a map unless it adheres to the globe coordinate systems of longitude and latitude. That's the answer. Okay, so there's a guy that goes by the name of Gleason, Alexander Gleason. He wrote a book. Okay, he's a flat earther, a very extensive book. He sends this book to his friend. He wants to tell him about how the Earth's actually a plane. And he explains in the book, when I made my map, I had to create it with this globe coordinate system of longitude and latitude because it was the only way that I could patent it or publish it, because the king gave a decree that you couldn't do it otherwise. That's the answer. That's why we don't have a map. Because believe it or not, we didn't have billions of dollars with the royal societies and with all the world's governments to map out everything with the globular assumption that then forces it into that Cartesian coordinate system. Because all the sphere does was take angles to Polaris to get latitude, go to around the equator, and then loop it back down. And then 90% of people live in the north. When you travel in the south, there's tons of discrepancies, but we just move on. And one example of some of the discrepancies, and there are many, right, is check this out. So there's something called the Argo fleet, and it's these smart buoys, right? And you can track them. They should be going at the current speed, let's say 1 miles per hour. So to circumnavigate at 60 south latitude should be 15,000 miles or 15,000 hours, which is about 2 years. I'm looking at buoys that have been going 7 years and are only 3/4 circumnavigating. They've only done 3/4 circumnavigation. So if you do the math, the boat has gone 61,000 miles. In the south, just like the world record for the speedboat is way faster in the north than in the south because they think they're going a shorter distance, which means they think they're going a slower speed, but in reality, they're going a greater distance. The same boat, just in the south water, has a significantly lower, world record speed. Okay, and then of course you can keep going. When they started going into the south, assuming that there was a symmetry of a sphere, they constantly got lost. They were off by hundreds of miles. It didn't work. Right? They had to create all kinds of magnetic declination charts that tried to correct for it. Many different sailors, like veteran sailors, saying, when we're in the south, all of a sudden it doesn't work. Assuming there's a sphere and that it's symmetrical doesn't work. Okay, so why do we not have a map? That's why. That's the answer. Because you can't. You're not even allowed to patent one without the assumed coordinate systems of longitude and latitude of a sphere. Right? That's the answer. And if you actually look into truly verifying and testing some of these distances, they fall apart. GPS will be wrong on like a 17-mile bike ride. So people can assume it when you're driving in your GPS, quote unquote GPS, is correcting as you go. You think it worked.
Yeah, you have to know how to use maps. Maps have different scales and different things that you look at. But bottom line is that all maps are wrong. The projection map, one of the Mercator maps.
Not sure if you mentioned the discrepancy, but the north has 21 time zones, 24 at the south, and 27 time zones crossing Australia. Yeah, discrepancy is a little bit more than that, but yeah, there are more time zones in the south than in the north. I have a whole stream about it. Yeah, you can travel off of the updated transform coordinate systems, but in the south, you have to actually be able to verify the distances. And that's not being done at all. And all the data and facts and evidence and information shows that there is significantly more area in the south, which is why it takes way longer to do things in the south, because they're going way farther than they think they are on the globe, which explains all the southern discrepancies. The vast majority of all transportation happens in the north, right? Undersea cables go from northern to northern continent, but not south to south, right? All of the trade routes, they want to go north to north. Oh, 95% of planes that fly from the south, they pop up north, then come back down. It's overwhelmingly obvious that the south is consistently different than the north when it should be symmetrical, whether that's flora and fauna, plant and animal life, everything. Okay, I mean, this is all that people say. The map, oh, the map, and it works. You can't get past that. You don't understand how that works. You don't understand that you just put it into a spherical geometry coordinate system. You transform it. You make updates and corrections that the north would practically be the same. Like you guys don't get that? It's weird.